Just pulling in from having been out of town, and look at my pretty siding, everybody. Oh my gosh. Welcome back to Handy Hannah Home Improvement. Glad to see you guys here on the channel again. I have a project going on in my house that you all may have seen on Instagram or on Facebook. It's actually a vinyl siding project, and it's about to be wrapped up. It was contracted through Lowe's. I think Rodas Construction is the name of the company who is their vendor here in North Carolina where I am. I am about to have a meeting with the manager to do a walk around on my home. So today's Quick Tip Tuesday is just going to walk you through my top things to look at when looking at your vinyl siding installation before you sign off on it. These are often missed details of a siding installation that can really add to or detract from the quality and the price, I would argue, of your home if you do go to resell after the project. Now, the first step to reviewing your siding project, I would say, is making sure that you keep an eye out for color consistency. You can see here that yellow trim was used where white trim should have been used. So we have the white metal soffit here and the white fascia, and they went ahead and put yellow trim up here, which sticks out like a sore thumb. Adding insult to injury, we can see up here that there is a crack in the trim that they decided to use as well. So this is definitely something that we will want to point out to the manager that we speak to when doing our walk around for this particular project. In the same spot on my side porch, we can see an example of the second thing that I recommend keeping an eye on when doing your siding walk around, and that is corners. So when your installers are trimming the pieces of siding and edging that go onto your home, they should be paying attention to angles and lengths of the trim that they are using. You'll notice that there is definitely a gap there between those two corners. It looks like the piece going up into the ceiling doesn't even fit into, nor is it trimmed into an angle to fit into that corner. So that is a big red flag for me, because all I see is all of these wasps building a lovely nest up in there and terrorizing my guests as they come into my home. Next up, we're going to take a look at the seams on our vinyl siding job. And ultimately with the seams, what you want is to not see them. A good practice when installing vinyl siding is to not allow a seam to be right by the doorway. So we can see we have a seam here. If we look to the right, there's another seam directly over the window. That tells me that this could have been easily avoided with a longer piece of siding trimmed a bit more specifically. Following down the house here, you can see there's actually another instance of a weird overlap on the corner of the house here. So if we zoom in there, you can see there's a big hole. That hole is big enough for any number of pests to get inside and start building a house, and that is not something I want on my home. For my siding job, I did have the installers go ahead and wrap the fascia and my window casings in aluminum. The reason being, I just wanted a more uniform look, and my windows are a little older, so they wouldn't really match the brand new siding that I was having put on the house. Now when wrapping things with aluminum, there is the need to caulk the edges to make sure that they are not allowing anything to get inside or water to get inside and ravage the wood that it's covering. So caulk is important. However, what we can see here is that too much caulk was used. You're supposed to bring a silicone scraper or something to scrape off the excess caulk and make it a nice flat line. They did not bother here, and not only did they not bother doing that, but they also buckled up on the caulk. You can see right here all that buckling, and that causes a bad texture as well as excess caulk that will catch dirt and debris and make my windows look dirty sooner than they probably should. Next up, you're going to want to pay attention to things that are mounted on your home. Think outlets, light fixtures, hose mounts, anything that was previously attached to your home that the installers had to remove and then put back up once they were done. But we can see here what not to do when mounting an outdoor light. So when they mounted this light, I'm not sure if they took care to center it on the actual plate on the wall, but we can see that if they did, it definitely drooped and fell down, making it look sloppy. So we can see here, this is actually hanging off the edge, which leaves a gap behind it for pests to get up and behind, in addition to this gap up here where we can see it's already drooping off the wall. On top of that, this brand new light, you can see they went ahead and partially stripped the nut that allows you to tighten that screw. So overall, this is just a very poorly installed light. I'm definitely going to have to bring this up to the manager and with Lowe's, because at this point I bought a brand new lantern and they damaged it when installing it. Next up, keep an eye out for damage of your belongings around the project area. The last thing I would recommend you do with the project manager as you do your final walkthrough of your siding project is keep an eye out for dirt and debris. If you see nails in the dirt, tell them, because ultimately it's their job to make sure that your home is returned to better condition than they found it. I worked for several years, actually quite a long time, with my grandfather's maintenance company, and our jobs were the same. It's not done until you leave the home looking better than you found it. Request that they walk around with a magnet on a string to pick up as many of those as possible. Request that they fill their dumpster full of any of the debris that they may have left behind, because ultimately, that's what you're paying them for. This has been another episode of Handy Hannah Home Improvement. Hopefully this siding walkthrough video proved helpful for you all going through the same process that I'm going through. Just remember, take a beat, take a breath. This walkthrough is for you as the consumer, so make sure that you are getting what you want out of your thousands of dollars that you're spending on your siding project. Please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button while you're at it, and leave me a comment. I love to hear from you guys. One more thing. While I was filming this video, I was outside on my front porch filming the bit about the lights, and the owner of the siding company that Lowe's contracted to do my siding pulled into my driveway. We did a walk around. I explained to him my concerns about the lights and the damage and the color coordination and some of the dents and just all the stuff, right? And he's like, yeah, I see even more than what you're pointing out, and I would say we've got about 4 additional days of work to do on your house to get it closer to 100% done, because whoever was working on your house did not do a very good job, and that's not what we stand for. So not only was he wonderful and totally understanding of my concerns, he was like, you know, I may be the owner of the company, but first I am a customer. So if you're not getting what you want or what you need out of this project, we need to make sure that we're meeting those standards. So they'll be stopping by tomorrow to fix this stuff while I go out of town to be with my mother during her surgery. So thank you to them. Hopefully I'll have a follow-up video to show you all the great work that they do. Looking forward to having this project done. So anyway, I will see you all later. Make sure to subscribe and have a great day.